All right. I'm telling you, this is a wonderful time. Yes, 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 yes. I'm telling you, we are ready to roll. We are ready to roll. I hope you can hear me good. If you cannot, let me know because our setup was quick. All right, we are ready to roll. Today again is another beautiful day. Well, unless you don't like being in the cold weather, uh, but it's beautiful. It's bright and sunny, but cold where we are coming up from, and we are back live. Continue on a life and health show. We just want you to uh, click the share button as soon as possible. I know some people are already on there, and we have seen a couple of thumbs up. Uh, Click the like button, the share button, and click the thumbs up so that people will see because we got a very nice show ahead of us today. All right, and I want to welcome you, my beautiful wife. Last show you were missing out. How you doing today?
I'm doing great.
All right, all right, all right, all right. I'm telling you, we are fired today. All
Mm.
right, so today we have a beautiful topic. It's actually in continuation of what we started last week on an episode 6. But before that, let's do a quick review, quick news trend on our health front, and then we will go to the introduction of the topic. All right, so I'm going to be the news anchor today. Today, we want to tell you of a beautiful, potentially life-saving development that is coming out. There's a study out there that is promising to be able to help with fentanyl addiction and opiate overdose. Basically, people dying of opiate overdose. And uh, what it is a vaccine has been developed and it's been tested in mice, and that vaccine is able to produce a compound. I mean, it's able to make your what do you call it? Your body produce antibodies, and the antibodies are able to bind to the opiates that you take. So if it's fentanyl, your antibodies after receiving the vaccine, the antibodies that are produced is able to capture or bind to those toxic antibody. I mean toxic medication, which in this case is the fentanyl, and it makes your body eradicate or excrete it through the kidneys. So potentially, what would happen is if you did overdose on fentanyl, which is a very toxic drug. I mean, it is very potent opiate. If you overdosed on it, your body would already have mobilized antibodies in you, which will capture those, pieces of drug and then excrete it so that you won't die. Because many people die of fentanyl overdose. They may not actually do fentanyl itself as a drug, but because street drugs are a mixture of compounds, sometimes people may think they are buying heroin, and before they know the heroin, those who are selling, because they want to sell it as a strong one, pure one, they will add a hint of fentanyl, and that is what kills the people who are doing drugs. And fentanyl, just so you know, is more potent, is stronger in terms of killing people than heroin, morphine, and all those oxycodones and all those illicit opiates that are out there. So this is a potentially life-saving development. Now, the only caveat is it's not yet done in humans, so they're going to test it in humans. It showed a very promising use in human beings, but now we're going to make the compound available to human beings to try and see how the effect, which is seen in mice, comes out to be. And so that is potentially great news because, as you may know, I think about 150 people die every day,
Mm.
according to stats. 150 people die every day. I'm not talking about every week, every day in the United States from overdose of opiate or fentanyl.
Is
So,
it
mhm.
is it like a second or the third way of that people are dying? Is it next to accident or before, or is it the
Actually,
second?
good thing you brought it up. Just yesterday in the news, they're saying that fentanyl overdose and opiate overdose death have become the number one
Oh, it's number one now.
leading cause of deaths in the U.S. from people up to age 40, I think 43 or 45.
Hmm.
The thing that is killing most people now is the abuse of opiates or fentanyl overdose.
Overdose.
So this is a promising thing. If you can come up quickly, uh, we are going to save lives, because many people are stuck doing drugs not because they choose to. They probably had an injury at some point. They were prescribed, an oxycontin, maybe a morphine or dilaudid, and they got hooked on it.
Mhm.
And now, because they can't get it by prescription anymore, they turn to the streets and buy it. And this is where the most number of deaths are coming from. So this is a potentially life-saving news out there.
It's great news.
Yeah, that's a great news. That is great. Anything that says life, we are about life and health. So we cherish that news coming up, and we are going to follow that study in human beings and see what the effect is going to be, so that we can report that to you. But apart from that, we are also going to encourage you. We're going to talk about the vaccinations out there too, because we don't want to think that everything is done now.
Yeah, so this time it's very cold, so we have the flu shots available. We still giving out the COVID booster, the bivalent, which is the mixture of the Delta and Omicron together. So it's available at most pharmacies. You just have to make an appointment and you just stop by for your shots. We have the pneumonia shot also available. If you are 55 and older, you do qualify to get your pneumonia shot. There is a newer kind which uh, comprise of both the Prevnar 13 and the Pneumovax 23 all in one, and it's now called Prevnar 20. So if you get that, you are covered, fully covered. We encourage all people that are around 50, 55,
65. Sure.
65, older. Yeah, just go get your pneumonia shot. That is saving a lot of lives.
And also, if you are not 65 yet, but you have a chronic condition such as diabetes, or you have asthma,
Mhm.
you may even be a teenager, but if you have asthma or you have diabetes, then you make sure that your pneumonia vaccination is on point every 5 years, for that matter. So if you have had a shot, it's not been 5 years, then you don't need it. But if you haven't, you have any condition, even heart disease, anything like that, ask your doctor and see if it will help you. It definitely will, but you definitely have to check with your doctor, because I was saying we actually have a video that we posted this week about how to, live a healthy life in this holiday season, Christmas and Thanksgiving and Hanukkah and all the other holidays that are coming up around this season. And one of the points that we are discussed is make sure that you are vaccinated. It would be sad to
Mm.
live through COVID and die of the flu. How sad it would be. COVID was killing a lot of people. So if you made it through COVID, don't die by the flu, or for that matter, by pneumonia. We have vaccinations that can save your life. And unless you don't believe in vaccines, there's proof that they work. And especially around this cold season, this is the time to get your shots. Or if you are, as Gifty said, over 65, definitely check with your doctor or your pharmacist, actually, especially if you're in the US and you can get your shot.
And the flu may not kill you, but you may lose a lot of time.
Mm.
You may be incapacitated
Mm-hmm.
for 2 weeks or like sick in bed. We don't have time to waste. We have to make wealth, we have to overcome diseases and stuff. So you don't want to just waste 2 weeks just because you didn't get the shot. You just have to get it and be protected throughout the season.
All right, so let's move on to today's show. And the next thing on the agenda is to do a last show review, last week review. Last week was a fun time. I think you missed out, Gifty. You missed out. You missed out. And those of you who were not on the live, you also missed out. But the good thing is you can always go back and check out the video on online. So we're gonna just hit the main points of last week and then zooms right into today's show. So last week we talked about let's see here, why we are poor, why a lot of people are poor, and some of the points that we discussed that lack of confidence, lack of self-esteem. Some people don't believe in themselves to do anything better than their parents or their peers are, so they just succumb to whatever situation they are in. And the same, we used a story about a guy called Gideon who was hiding in caves. We talked about coming out of the caves, coming out of your caves and thinking that he is nothing, compared to mighty men out there. And when the angel told him come out, and eventually he believed and came out, he became a leader of his group and he led his people to fight their enemies. So the first thing we discussed was confidence. The other thing we also talked about was that a lot of people are always late for everything, late for the appointments. They don't check their health status as far as whether they have breast issues going on, whether there's cervical cancer, whether there's they are checking of their health. They don't check their blood pressure. They don't see any doctor because they feel better. They don't feel sick, and because they don't, they stay home and they are late. And all of a sudden, something shows up, and that becomes a problem. So don't be late on your health. And then we also said that poor people are people who are always late for everything. And so if you are late for everything, you can mark on the wall that you probably wouldn't make it. If you make it, that is special grace because rich people are on time, right? And then we also said something about one particular resolution that I made for myself and said that I would rather be an hour
Oh.
early for appointments than a minute late.
Mm.
And that statement is going to stick with me. And I hope you pick that up and also challenge yourself, especially as we wrap up this year and we head into a new year. You're going to tell yourself that you're never going to be late. You'd rather be an hour early than a minute late. If you shoot for that and you are 30 minutes early, at least you were not late. If you shoot for that and you're 5 minutes early, you were not late. But if you decide to go on time, most likely people who are from places where time doesn't matter, they will always be late and then they call themselves African time, whatever time they are coming from. So that was another huge point that we discussed. And then we also talked about lack of consistency as an issue that makes people stay poor and remain poor. Lack of consistency. Lack of consistency. People start businesses, start something, and they stop. They don't proceed to the finish line. They face a little bit of a challenge and they give up. And they listen to people. This connection has come. Then all of a sudden, all their plans are thrown out.
Mm.
They go and start all over again. And so, if you do that, if you are not consistent, then you don't see successes in the things that you invest in. So stay to the things you have started consistently for a long time until proven wrong that as for this point now I have seen that it won't work. That is when you change, but not that somebody came and told you, hey, there's this gold thing going on, then you stop your job, stop your career, and you go, and then gold fails, and then hey, this thing, and then you are hopping around from career to career, no consistency. And also we also said that if you start something and you stick to it long enough, that is when you would make it most of the time. And then the fourth one was, or the last one was that some people are also stuck in poverty because they are afraid to fail, afraid failure to fail. He said, if I don't start and I don't fail, at least where I am, everybody knows that I'm doing this and that's fine. But if I start and I fail, then everybody will know that I started this and I failed. So our advice on that show was that don't look at what people would say. Just go for what you want. If you fail, you have actually, if you fail to succeed in that venture, you have actually excelled because the person who did not start anything is the one who have failed. And that was the last thing that we discussed. So I don't know if you have any thing to add, Gifty, to that, and then
Oh,
we'll.
the fear part. So like if you fail in trying something, right? At least you've learned from it. You are more experienced than
Mm.
somebody who didn't start at all.
Wow.
So that in case you go attack it again, you have some backbone, you have some experience that may help you shoot, and you can reach your goal with that. So not trying at all makes you a failure.
Definitely.
Failing to try
It's the
is a
failure.
failure itself. Yeah.
Wow. All right. All right. All right. I think that wraps up our review of last show, and let's see what we're going to talk about today. So today, as you may have seen on the thumbnail that we shared, we want to talk about the power of attitude, which is literally continuing in the same place we left last week. The power of your attitude that affects your poverty or financial situation as well as your health. What kind of attitudes or lifestyle modifications and changes can make you either better or worse. As a matter of fact, we're hoping that the change is better, not worse. All right. So that is what we're about to talk about today. And we will continue there and say that the first one, I have some points here and give to, we can discuss it. And we just want you to also share your thoughts with us. So we welcome comments, Don't sit on your. Some people have beautiful ideas, and they just sit and watch quietly, and then they go home with their ideas. Please
Share,
share us,
share with
share
us.
with us, and then also when you share, it's not just us, but other people who are watching also benefit when you share your idea. So pick up your piece of paper and pencil and share it. If we don't see it now because of our inability to, see all of them, we will eventually acknowledge receipt when we finish the show. All right. So the first point that I want us to talk about is an attitude of praise or an attitude of acknowledging little successes. Do you want to start with that or?
An attitude of
Yes,
praise.
that's the first one.
So we can maybe praise, we can say praise and thanksgiving,
Mm,
right? So if you are grateful of what God has given you, the things that you have, the attitude of being thankful of the life, even just having life
mm,
in you is something that you be thankful about. You give praise to for having life. So acknowledging the little success in your life for having life is something that you can be thankful or you be grateful for. So having a grateful heart, the power in that is going to change the way you do things,
mm,
the way you do things. So you have to have the attitude of praise and thanksgiving. So we have Thanksgiving coming up this
mm,
Thursday, right?
mm,
So we are going to be grateful. We are going to be thankful. We are going to be praise God or praise the little success that we've achieved. So by doing that, the power behind it is that you feel liberated, like you feel that you have a merry heart.
mm.
I think I read something from Proverbs chapter 17 verse 22 says that a cheerful heart is good medicine, but a crushed spirit dries up bones. A
Mm.
cheerful heart. So having a cheerful heart, that attitude that you have can help you break through or have this hope in you that you are going to make it in life. Or that cheerful heart that, oh, I'm able to acquire this knowledge. I'm learning about my situation now, my disease state now, and it's going to be okay. That attitude of having that help you to overcome some difficulties in life.
Wow,
So
wow, wow,
praise and thanksgiving is
wow.
very good to have.
That's a good perspective right there. I like that. Now, I also want to add that, you know, again, I'll refer to the last video that we posted. Please make sure you go to our channel and see that video. It will be helpful. I'll also say that acknowledge the little successes. You know, to have an attitude that overcomes poverty and disease, you have to acknowledge the little successes. Because when you acknowledge those little things, it will motivate you to sort of go up higher and do something better. So if you despise the little things, even the scripture says that do not despise, little beginnings, right? So if you despise the little things that you achieve in this life, chances are that you are not even going to look for more
Mm,
because you don't even value the things you have already achieved. This year, you may think that you didn't do anything. As we begin to review our actions in the past year, you may think that I think nothing much was done. No, look at the positive side, the things that are small that you underlook, that's things that you overlook, as you say, that you don't really think are meaningful. Look at those and praise yourself. That's why
mm,
we say praise. Praise yourself and praise God for those little achievements that you've
mm,
done. And the most basic one is what Gifty said. The first thing is the life you are on, right? That's the first thing you got to be grateful for. And then the second thing is, what did you do? What are some of the little things that you achieved?
mm,
Is it in family terms? How many times you brought your wife out? How many times you went to church? How many times you visited your doctor on time? You made appointments to make sure that you are checked. You got your vaccinations done. You are doing the right things. So acknowledge those little things so that when it comes to big things, you can spring forth from those little achievements and get higher things. But if you look down on little things, then you are not going to even make the attempt to move higher. So you always have to move from the little to the bigger. If you have no little, you probably wouldn't, agree that there's something there else that you can do. So do not despise the small things. Do not look down on the things that you have been able to achieve. Look at them and encourage yourself. And that is good for your mental health. And that is what the video I'm talking about refers to. It brings a sense of well being. You feel good. And as Gifty said, those of us in the US, we are going to celebrate Thanksgiving on this Thursday, this week. What are you going to be thankful for? Do you really feel that you have achieved something? If you don't look on those little things, it will just be eating and letting the day pass. But if you look back and say that, hey, this year I was able to exercise many more times than I used to. This year I was able to do 3 exercises per week. I was able to run 30 minutes a week this year. I used to do only once, or I didn't even do it before. Or this year I even eat better. This year is the year that I've actually included some greens in my diet. This year I ate less fatty meals. This year I ate less starchy foods. Those are, you may think you didn't do, but that is good to celebrate. And then from that forward, from that going forward to next year, you can say that, oh, this is what I did last year. This year I'm going to challenge myself. I'm going to make it everyday exercise instead of just 3 days a week. So if you don't appreciate those little things, then your attitude will be like, oh, everything is not working. And if everything is not working, then you are not going to be moved to overcome your poverty or the disease situation that you are in. So that is what I think I will add onto that.
And I think you can also, not just for you, people around you, when you see there is something good about somebody that you've known. Oh, sweetie, I've seen that you've lost a little weight. So you praise the person. And by praising the person will have like this merry heart and continue to do more. Your kids are with you and they are doing something. They've done well at school, or their behavior is unique or something about them that needs praise. Just praise them.
Just praise them.
Just praise them. The more that you praise them, for them to have this, that the Bible put it as or merry heart. Like you are excited that somebody has noticed something. And that notification will make you be like, oh, I've done well. And the cheerful heart is what will lead, is a good medicine. Having that in you, somebody praising you. So don't be selfish. If you see people around you doing well, praise them.
Praise them.
And as you praise them, somebody will also acknowledge you and see what you are also doing and praise you. And the more that you do that, it boosts each other's confidence. That's the power behind it. That's the power that we are talking about. It boosts your morale. You want to do more. You want to achieve more. If like you graduated, you have your first degree, tell the person you have done well and encourage the person to move on to another level. If you encounter a new adventure and you're like, this will be good for my sister, share with them. Share that idea with them.
Yes.
And encourage them to do more. You can see a potential in somebody. Just encourage them to keep going higher and higher. And in so doing, we are going to break out from poverty and we are going to build wealth and overcome diseases in our lives.
Definitely. I like that. So this is all to lift you up from your situation, which may not be something you are proud of, but you got to do those things and it will help you. Now, the next point is the power of positivity. What being positive can help can do as an attitude. If you have a positive attitude, you have an attitude that is able to overcome the odds. And in this case, we are talking about diseases and poverty. Positive attitude is one that can help overcome a lot of problems. Don't assume the outcomes of chances to be always negative. What do I mean by that? You know how, especially for some of us, when we think about either opening a business or going to college or going to school or doing something that has not been done, you know that the odds are maybe you can either pass or fail, right? That would be some of the odds. But people dwell on the fail part and say that, well, if I can fail, then I'm not going to do it. That is not being positive. What if you dwell on the other half, which says that you will pass or you can pass, even if it's 50% chance? Most of the time it is like 80-20. Like 80% of the time you will succeed and 20% of the time you will fail. But we dwell on the negative, and then the negative pushes us down, and we say that, okay, then I'd rather remain in my situation. I'm poor. I'm just going to remain here.
mm,
After all, I can get my food. I can pay my rent. After all, nobody's chasing me to get any better life. I just like this life. And then you remain there until something bad happens. But if you have that positive attitude, positive, always looking out for the things in the future to be positive, even if there are odds also for negative. I'm not talking about 100%. It is like you're investing in a business. When you do stock market and stuff, they tell you that there's a risk that you will lose. And, honey, I lost some stock market money when I first migrated. I put some money there during the technology boom. I knew I could lose it, and I lost. But I don't want to say how much I lost. I lost all the money because, I mean, first of all, I wasn't educated in it and I did it all myself. But that doesn't tell me that I cannot invest anymore. I
mm,
have actually invested more since. Why? Because I'm positive that this time around I can win. But
mm,
if the outlook for negative over, overburden me so much, then I would say, hey, I'm not even going to invest anymore. Why?
mm,
Because what if I lose again? Well, what if I gain this time? That's how you should look at life. What if I gain? Yeah, it's possible you could lose, but what if you gain?
mm,
And that is where we're saying that to have the ability to overcome your situation, your poor situation, your disease situation, have a positive outlook and go out there, launch into the deep and see how much you can catch. You can catch out of the deep blue sea. So that is where I'm coming from. You have anything to add to
mm.
that?
So having a positive attitude means being optimistic.
Mm,
Like you've already said, being optimistic, looking at the positive side of things in your thinking. If you dwell so much on the negative, the power behind it is that you are going to what? Slack. You are going to relax because in your head, in your mind, you think that, oh, it's not going to work out. But if you become so optimistic in the adventure, in whatever you want to encounter, and you say that is going to be good,
mm,
good things are going to come out of it.
mm-hmm,
You are being positive, you're being optimistic, and that will work for your good. That will empower you to do your best
mm,
because you are looking on the positive side. Like somebody said that there is no way that you can maintain certain uh weight because weight loss is like up and down, and I know that again and all that.
yes,
But what about you trying?
mm,
What about trying to lose the weight and getting information to keep that weight? You know,
mm-hmm,
and you know that if I lose weight, what are the outcomes? It's likely that I'm going to stop taking my blood pressure medication.
mm-hmm,
It's going to be like my resistance to insulin is going to be reduced,
mm,
right?
mm-hmm,
So all that out there, if you look at the positive side that and say that yes, I can do it, it's going to turn up, it's going to work for my good. You are being positive. So in life, there are a lot of challenges. It's going to work for your good. So don't dwell so much on the negative.
mm.
Dwell on the positive. And by dwelling on the positive, being positive is going to empower you to succeed, to overcome. I have this sister that talked to me last time and said that, oh, so if I lose weight, it's likely that I'm going to stop taking this medication. I say, yeah, there is a study that shows that if you lose 10 pounds, the
Is
level
that
of
blood
the
pressure?
reading, yeah, blood pressure
Yeah,
goes down by 10,
it's by 5, I think.
by 5 to
Mm-hmm,
10.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, so like losing weight helps. So you tell yourself that, yes, let me try it. I can do it. People have tried and failed, all right, but I want to win. I want to succeed. And by being positive, it's likely that you are going to overcome it and you are going to live your best life by trying because there is a power behind having a positive attitude towards situations.
Wow,
Amen.
wow, wow, wow.
Amen.
You are preaching now. My wife is preaching now. It is speaking to the church right now. Yes. All right. So that was very insightful. Actually, being pessimistic and optimistic and stuff like that. Yeah. So I like the example with the weight loss because I can hear a lot of, especially, don't pick up on me. A lot of women saying that this weight loss thing is a journey. up and down, up and down. Let me just do what I can, No, even if it's up and down, keep doing it.
Mm.
You may strike an average, right? And
Mhm.
that's positive.
Yeah.
But to give up completely and say that, hey, I can do this. If when I try, I wait, I lose about 10 pounds, and before I know, I gain it back. Well, keep doing it until it becomes stable, or keep doing it, at least there's an average for that. It's better than to
Let
just
go.
give up completely, because of the negative side of what you're saying. So that's very important point, right there. Now the next one, unless you want to add anything,
Let's continue.
uh, but the point I wrote about this, and before we move on for positive outcomes, is hope for the best and prepare for the worst.
Mm.
Hope for the best but prepare for the worst. So when you are doing something and the outlook is not 100% win, you do it and hope for the best. But then you prepare yourself that even if it fails, even if you don't win, it is okay, because like we said earlier, you tried, right?
Mm-hmm.
So hope for the best and prepare for the outcome that you don't so much like. It's better that way. Be positive. That's how you can stay positive. Otherwise, you are not going to do much. Now, sister gave us a comment and said that, I think, she said that we want to know how much you lost.
Did you prepare for the worst though when you were investing it?
Oh, I did. I knew that, like everything, the stock market is not 100%. And even up to today, you know, investing in the stock market is a 50-50 chance. I mean, most likely more than 50, because even if you lose the money, if you leave it in there for a long time, you can recover. But there's no guarantee. It's
Mm.
not like putting your money in the bank, the money is insured by the federal government. So even if the bank goes under, you get your money back. But stock market is not like that. And yet the do not people who do not invest, those are the people who don't make money. Why? Because they never looked at the positive side. They did not look at it. They said, what if I lose? And because what if I lose came in, they
Mm.
never invested, so they were poor. But the people who say that, hey, I'm going to hope for the best and prepare for the worst, they won. Some
Mm.
people win and then they made more money. So that is how life is. If you do not have a positive outlook on the future and on things ahead of you, then you will not launch out. And if you don't launch out, you're going to remain poor, or you're going to be sick.
Mm.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to the next one. The next one is that, actually, before we move on, I just want us to highlight some of the things that we have achieved. So those of us who are joining us by live, we want you to subscribe to our channel. Our channel, you can go to youtube.com and then / at Dr. Oteng, at Droteng. And we also want you to share right now. If you are watching us, this is the time to share. Share the stream so that other people can see what you are liking. So share the stream, like it, hit the thumbs up button, and make sure that other people who may benefit also takes advantage. And also saying that we have also achieved, we have passed 1,000 subscriber mark, which is something that is good. I tell you, it is something that is
Great
great,
achievement.
great achievement. We never thought we would get there because it was taking a long time, but it has happened. It's because of you out there who have enjoyed and followed and have been watching. That is where we achieved that. And we want to highlight some of the tools that we have been using. Some people are saying, "But how do you guys go live? What kind of software do you use?" I want to show you. It's called Ecamm Live, and I have the logo there and a link below. You can always, after the show, go back and copy it and then go and download it. They have a free version, I mean, a free trial for you if you use my link over there. They say that if I get somebody to use it, they are going to give them a promotional 1 month, I think. And they're actually going to have promotions for the holiday too. So do definitely go there, download and try. And if you like it, you can always purchase it. It is also only useful on a Mac computer. So if you don't use a Mac computer or Apple computer, this will not be for you. But I find it to be very easy, as you can tell. There's so much you can do with it. I record
Mm.
YouTube videos right through this software, and then our live shows, obviously, everything I'm doing, how I put the logo there, how I put everything there is through this program. So that is something there. The other tool that has helped us to achieve 1,000 subscriber mark is what we call the Two Buddy, and these both of these are affiliate links for us. So if you click and use it, you are going to also support our channel. That's a good thing. So the Two Buddy also helps you, develop content on YouTube. It tells you what topics are trending and how to, post your video thumbnails, a lot of things. So if you also want to use that to help you, you can download it. And again, if you use my link, they're going to give you 30 days free trial. 30 days. And after that, there's no obligation. If you don't want it, you can always not buy it. But I just thought that I should share with you because some people are watching and they are like, how do you guys do this? Because some people just go live using their phone. That is not professional. This is the professional way to go, and it's not expensive.
That can also be like an adventure that you can encounter. Maybe that's an opportunity for you to expand and change outlook of life. Maybe you have some ideas that
That
you
you
want to
want
share.
you want
Yeah,
to start a live
people are
show.
putting a lot of stuff out there.
Mhm.
What about if you have a good one to share? If you
Yes.
have like more informed opinions about things,
Yes, don't sit
don't
on
keep
the
it to yourself.
yes,
Get on
start a
board,
show.
get
Yeah,
in the air, and share your ideas. Somebody may benefit from it.
definitely. And these tools are, like I'm saying, are easy to use tools that you can start your live show, or we can interview people. As you've seen, I can interview people right from anywhere. I can interview up to about 10, depending on which one you select. Can interview up to about 10 people right now online. I mean, as we on the live show, and a host of other things. But this is not about that now. I just wanted to show you that this is what we use in case you are thinking of starting your own live show and your own YouTube channel and stuff like that. These are the tools that you can try for free using my links. So you can copy the links after the show and then try them. All right, so let's go back to our topic. So the next thing is faith. Faith. Faith, in religious terms, you always talk about faith being the evidence of things not seen, hoping for things that you haven't seen. But it starts from having even the belief in you that there's something you can, achieve that is not seen. So the first element of faith is to trust in yourself. Trust or have confidence in yourself. It goes back to our last week point of self-esteem. But trust in yourself that you can do something. There's a difference between self-esteem and having complete trust or faith in yourself. Self-esteem is believing you are worth something. Some people don't even believe that they are worth anything. And they actually make statements in some languages which I don't want to share here. But translating, they say that people are nothing. Well, that is because you don't have confidence. You don't have self-confidence. But to have faith is to trust that who you are can also achieve something. So having the confidence that you are somebody, and then faith is trusting that you can achieve something, whether it is nearby or far off in the future. So that is the difference there. So for you to be able to beat poverty, for you to be able to beat disease, on this episode 6, our advice to you, the third advice to you, is that have complete trust in yourself that you can do it. Let nobody tell you cannot do it. You can do it. Whatever you put your mind to do, you can do it. That is the faith in yourself. You haven't seen yourself do it before, but you can do it. Like I'm saying, this live show, I hadn't done live show before. Just fidgeting with computer. We are no experts. But because I believed I could do it, now you are watching live or watching the replay. If I said that, oh, as for me and computers, I can, then obviously you won't even try. So faith is to have a complete trust in yourself that you can do whatever is ahead that you want to do. And then the second part of faith is to trust that God is going to help you. God, that is where we always dwell on the religious part. God, having faith in God, that whatever you ask him, you shall receive, even though it may not be, evident right next to you. But you believing in God that you can. So believing in God that he can do it. And then the first one, believing in you that you can do what is humanly possible when it comes to human terms. Yours is also to have faith that you too, you can do something. You have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I can also add by saying to have faith that you have everything that you need to succeed in life. You have this faith that you've been equipped from
Equipped.
head to toe, that whatever the challenge is out there, you believe in yourself that God has endowed you with everything that you need to succeed.
Mm.
So if you have that faith, some people confuse the faith with hope. Oh, I hope tomorrow is going to be okay. Faith is deeper than that.
Mm.
It's deeper. It
My
goes
goodness.
deep.
Mm.
So
My goodness.
having that faith
Mm.
gives you that power
Mm-hmm.
to succeed because of the faith you have
Mm-hmm.
in yourself
Mm-hmm.
that I can do it
Mm-hmm.
because I've been equipped.
Mm-hmm.
I have life
You have
now.
life. Mm-hmm.
I have the ability to understand
Mm-hmm.
situations. I have a way to dissect and discern and to know things
Mm-hmm.
in my way to be successful.
Mm-hmm.
So, if having that faith will give you that power to succeed in life. But if you don't have faith and you just sit and wait for things to happen to you, then you're going to remain in this poverty that we are talking
Mm.
about. So, you should have faith if you want to break through that attitude of faith
Mm.
that you are going to say that it's like it's not there. Everything around you shows that there is no way that you succeed. But
Faith.
because of your faith, you are going to go more. You're
Mm.
going to try harder. You're going to believe more in circumstances that is going to be well with you. So having faith is very important. Should be your attitude that is going to be well. Things around me may say that I'm not going to make it from where I'm coming from, the way that I speak, the things that I do,
Mm.
the food that we eat that we are used to
Mm.
eating.
How
There is
can how
no
can I how can I
how,
change my diet
how
and
can I
lose
change
weight?
my diet?
This one is not for me. That's
So
you don't have faith.
regardless, but we have faith that we can do something better because of what we know or who we are or what we have. So having that attitude empower you to break through.
Wow, 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 wow. I'm telling you. I'm telling you, she is on fire, man. Man, that is deep. That is deep. Having that faith will push you forward.
Mm,
So do not limit yourself. Do not limit yourself. You can do this, but you got to believe that faith is having evidence of something you have not seen. So, like he said, you can see your bones are big, your flesh is big. You come from a family of big people. Everybody, excuse me to say, is fat, but you want to beat diabetes, you want to beat heart disease, you want
mm,
to beat obesity. You don't say that. As for me, the whole family is like that. But you're seeing yourself already big, and so you give up. But that's not what you should think or do. What you should do is trust that you have been given enough strength to achieve whatever it is in
mm,
this life that you can. And that is what faith is. Looking at the negative odds and coming out and still saying that I will beat this because I believe in myself. And then when it comes to asking God for something, you also believe that God will answer you in spite of the odds. So faith is deep. Faith is deep. I mean, if you don't have the attitude of faith in you, so having that confidence and trust in you yourself, then don't even bother thinking, asking God for anything. I may be wrong. I mean, I'm not a pastor or anything, but if you are not able to believe that God has implanted in you the abilities to do the things that human beings can do,
mm,
then how can you trust Him to do the things that God can do? You got to first believe that whatever it's in this life that He has given you power over. I mean, there's certain things that you don't expect God to come and lose the weight for you. You don't expect God to make you beat the diabetes in your family. You don't expect God to come and tell you to beat the heart disease. Everybody in your family dies around 50, 40, heart attack, stroke, black clot. You know it's going on. God has made you live to see it, but you got to have faith that I am going to beat it. I'm not going to be a statistic.
mm,
I'm not going to be part of the numbers in the family. And the only way you can do it, it's not just praying and say, God, protect me. No, God is protecting you. But when it comes to human things, when it comes to the things that He has given to us to control, He will expect you to do it. And if you don't have faith, if you don't believe in that fact that He has placed in you the ability to overcome that issue, then you will sit and disease will come. And then you'll be like, oh, God failed me. I prayed. Well, you can pray all you want. But if it comes to the things that God has given us to control, He expects you to take that bold initiative and then control them. He's not going to come to work and control and raise your kids for you.
Mm-hmm.
You just pray for them and then do your part as a human being. But you can't just pray and say that when they do anything, I'm not saying anything to them because I've already prayed. That is not right. So faith is believing that you can do that which is in your hands to do, that you are able. If it is human beings that can do it, if human beings can do it, then you too, forget about your education, forget about where you come from, like Gifty was saying, but believe that you too, you are there, and you too, you can do it. And when you stick to it like that, trust me, the strength will come. The knowledge that you think because you don't have a college degree or a university master's degree or a doctorate degree, you can do that. Knowledge will come, and then you'll be marveled. Just want to use this to tell our viewers about the exams that we took this week, right? So because we are telling and teaching people how to overcome poverty, we invested our time in financial education, and we took an exam to become licensed in financial matters. So right now, Gifty has passed and I have passed, all in one day. And if I tell you how much time we have on our hands to study, you will be marveled. And you had time to study? Yes, we did. Not much, but because we believe that, hey, if people can do it, we too can do it. We committed ourselves to it. Not that we didn't study as much, but just the mere fact of believing that we can pass.
Mm-hmm.
It gave us the morale to study a little bit, watch those videos that we needed to watch, and then take the exam. And we did it and we passed in one shot. It's not because we are anything, we are no different. It is because we believe in ourselves that we can. But if you start right from the get go and say that there's no way I can do this, you won't even register for the exam because already you have said that you can't. So that is where trusting in what God has given you to control is something that you should be able to do. So that is that. I don't know if you have anything to add. Otherwise, we'll go to the
Yeah,
last
so
point.
the power of attitude,
Mm.
your attitude,
Mm-hmm.
if you are including faith to be one of the attitude, there is power there.
Hey,
There is power in that. That is deep.
that is really deep. You
Mm-hmm.
said once you believe there is power.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even think about it.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. There's power. Wow. Wow. You want to continue or you're done with that point?
I'm done with that point.
All
So,
right. So I think we will delve deeper.
mhm.
That is deep. That is
Yeah.
deep. So she's saying that when you believe that you can do it, there's power. And I
And then,
believe that
mhm,
when you believe you could do, that's when the Holy Spirit will come and empower you, right?
yes.
Yeah. But if you say you cannot, then even if you have the Holy Spirit, he just sleeps because, oh, my host says he cannot or she cannot.
Mhm.
So what do? I just sleep here and wait for them until they believe they can. All right. So that's a very useful point right there. All right. Hey, we are getting congrats on the fly from passing our exams. My brother Jeremiah and a wife are saying congrats, guys. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, we're going to start teaching people how to make money using what we have learned and potentially help others to come out of poverty because it's important. We can't just talk about it and not help people. So we're going to do that as we talk about health and other things. All right, so the last point, and then we will be done, is pragmatism.
Mhm.
The attitude of pragmatism. Are you pragmatic enough? Do you want to take this
Mhm.
first?
Start.
Okay, so pragmatism is actually dealing with things sensibly.
Mhm.
And I have keywords I'm going to underline. The first keyword is sensibly. And then the other keyword is realistically. So dealing with things sensibly, dealing with things realistically, and in the way that is based on practical rather than theoretical considerations. So I'm going to read the whole thing. Pragmatism is dealing with things, or to be pragmatic is to be dealing with things sensibly, first keyword. Second keyword, realistically, and in the way that is based on practical and rather than theological and theoretical considerations. So let's take those keywords one by one. The first one is sensibly.
Mhm.
First one is sensibly. What do we mean by that? We talked about having faith, right? And some people, all they have is faith. They have no mixed sensibilities with their faith. Or they can tell you how much faith they have in themselves. As for me, I can do this. Oh, you watch, and yet it is not sensible enough. I mean, how can you tell me that you're going to become a professor when you don't have a college degree?
Mhm.
unless you're going to start all over. So you have to be sensible in the things that you talk about. That's being pragmatic. So if you are pragmatic, your outlook is big, but not bigger than what doesn't make sense. Because you can talk about things and you will not make sense. People look at you, what? What are you talking about? Are you crazy? You're gonna be a professor and you don't even have a high school education. You can, but it's gonna take you a long time. Especially if you say that next year by this time I'm going to be a professor and you don't have a college degree. I mean, if you say that in 20 years I'm going to be a professor and you have no high school degree, oh, I will believe you because it is mixed with time. The timing is good enough to let us know how you're going to get there. But if you make up wild statements, it's not mixed with sense. It doesn't make sense. And some people are using religion and commanding and bulldozing. I break this, I do this, I build this, I'm going to build a castle. Meanwhile, they don't even have what it takes to have an apartment. They are not doing that. There's nothing that shows that what they are saying makes sense. So that is not being pragmatic. If you have that non-pragmatic attitude, you will continue to make wild, nonsensible statements that furnishes you nothing, no resource. And every day, everybody, and the sad thing is, when the men do that, some women actually fall for it. Some
What do you
women
mean?
actually fall for it. Oh, they see every woman and I'm going to do this. I'm going to build a castle. I'm going to buy a Rolls Royce. I'm going to do this. And then the woman is, oh, really? Oh, my goodness, you are a shot. And this man doesn't even have a job. He is just going from place to place, walking on the streets and doing nothing. That is not sensible. That they may have that confidence that they can, but it's not mixed with sensibilities. It's not pragmatism. That is what it is. The second keyword, unless you want to add anything,
Continue.
the second keyword is being realistic. Being realistic. What you're saying, is it mixed with reality? Is it something that is real or is an abstract? Certain things are an abstract way of saying things. They don't have any place in nature. I mean, if you tell me that you're going to be an astronaut, you're going to be an astronaut, unless you are younger than my son or just starting out, it makes it may not be realistic. How many people can go? I mean, you can be an astronaut, all right, but say you're going to go to the moon. How many astronauts even go on the moon? Few, right? So your proclamations or your statements must be mixed with reality, a fact based. It can be checked with nature. It can be checked with evidence on what is on you that shows that yes, this is real. Don't make wild, unreal statements. It doesn't bring you anywhere. So mix the fact that we say have faith and have confidence in you, it still has to be within the boundaries of reality, realism, not wild
So
statements.
so let's take this one in line of health, right? You know that you have this weight that you have to lose. You said that this week I'm going to lose 10 pounds. That's not
That's not
realistic.
realistic. You
That's
can.
not realistic. Meanwhile, your grocery and everything has the loaded sugar, you have the carbohydrates, you have everything around you that shows that there is no way that you can lose 10
That's
pounds
in one
in
week.
1 week. That is not realistic. So, as we are talking about this, you have to be realistic that, okay, how do I start? You know, when I go grocery, what kinds of foods do I buy? Then after you brought them home, am I going to prep? Am I going to get things ready for the week? That you are being what? Pragmatic. You are being realistic. That you mean what you are talking about
Not just
and
wild
you want to
statements.
achieve what you are planning to achieve. So you just don't throw this wild state assumption there that, oh, I'm going to lose, like the year is coming to an end, right? Maybe beginning of the year, we all talked about losing 20 pounds at the end of the year, but we didn't set anything,
No goals,
no,
no
nothing,
strategies.
no, nothing. We just throw it out there. We have to be sensible in whatever we are planning on doing. We have to be realistic.
Realistic.
Realistic. Like, is it real? So you know that, okay, losing 2 pounds a week is achievable, it's realistic. So you start from there.
Start from there.
And when you hit that goal, celebrate it.
Celebrate it. That is what we say
Yeah.
praise. Praise the little
Celebrate it.
successes. Yeah.
that you are doing something.
Something, and then shoot for a little more. So I'm going to
Yes.
do 3 pounds
Yes.
next week.
And you are being positive that you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
You are not being negative that, oh, don't worry, next week you will gain everything back.
Anyway, and somebody will tell you that
Oh,
that's
yeah.
the sad part of life. If you even if you don't think about the negative, there are so many people out there who are specialized in giving you the negative. I am telling you.
Yeah.
I mean, people specialize in doing that. It's the easiest way out. Especially when they cannot do it. It is easier for them to tell you that, oh, it's not possible. You think you can do this? Nah, come on, man. Look at what you did. You can't do this. So, go ahead.
Yeah, so you have to do it in such a way that you are doing it bit by bit. You are being realistic of whatever you want to achieve. And as you do it slowly, you realize that you are coming out of your situation, out of your poverty, right? So you know that you spend a lot, but you want to become a millionaire, right? And you know that your income, whatever you are making, is not as much as what you are spending. You are not being realistic. There is no way that you
You're not
become
being
a millionaire.
realistic.
So you have to see where it's leaking, right?
It's
You have
leaking.
to seal all the leaks.
The leaking is trouble. It makes a lot of people. a lot of leaks in pocket,
Yes,
right?
and you have to do things realistically so that you will achieve your goals.
Wow. All right, the last key word, and then we'll bring the show to a conclusion, is be practical. Be practical. Something that is practical. That is, it is doable, basically. So there's realistic, which is based in nature and the things that are possible. And then there's practical, things that can actually be done. You cannot just make a statement that next year, I'm going to say what example comes. I'm going to make sure that my blood pressure comes down. If it is 140, millimeters of mercury over, say, 95, and you say that I'm going to make my blood pressure come down. How are you going to do it? So be practical about that. So it boils down to a little bit of what Gifty was saying.
Yeah.
How to do it. Is it practical? Is it something that can be done? Is it something that is within human capabilities? Unless angels are coming down to do it for you, can a human being do it? If you set that goal and you don't eat right, you don't take your medication, you don't do exercise, it is not practical. It is just a hearsay. So be practical, not just theory. The theory is just throwing out the numbers, making those wild guesses and wild proclamations that I'm a mighty man, and yet you are an afraid man.
And we also throw this one in a lot. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me.
And then we don't
Meanwhile,
start anything.
you are not doing anything.
You can do it, but
you can
are you
do
doing
all
it?
things.
But are you doing it? That's the question.
Yes.
You can do all things through. So that what Paul was saying, that I can do when I start, then God will help me. But
Yes.
if you're not doing it and you're just making those wild, unpractical statements, you continue to say them and you're not going to achieve anything. So the key is be practical. Bring it to earth. Don't say it in heaven and leave
Spiritualize it.
Yes. Don't leave it in the air and hope that it will be done. God is a practical God. He's practical about everything. When he wanted Jesus to come on earth, he could have just thrown him from heaven from heaven and just drop him, and then he starts saving lives. But he was practical. He wanted it to work like human beings understand. And so he went through, a birth just like we know, and then he came out. Even that, he could have still not done that, but he did. He wanted it to be practical enough for us. And some people don't even think it's practical enough. They say that, but a man didn't sleep with Mary. How did that happen? It's not practical. That is how life is. If you don't make things practical, it's even hard for people to accept you, even when you are God. When God has said, God has done it, we human beings still think that it should be this way because that is the practical way of doing things. But he's God. And yet we are making wild claims about things that are not practical. So we got to make sure that we change our way of doing things and be practical about the statements that we make, and about, especially as we hit the end of the year, many people are going to set new goals. And we hope that as you do that, you make it practical enough and achievable, not just based in the air or theoretical. All right. I think that is about all that our points will allow. Now, if you have any comments, you will still have time to share with us, and definitely share the stream, even though we are coming to an end. It's still day out there in a lot of places, and people are going to watch. If you share on your Facebook, if you share on your YouTube, wherever you are watching us from, make sure that you share. Let me see if I can read any comments from Facebook. My Facebook comments are not coming through. Um, yeah, but be practical about it. If you have, do you have any concluding remarks?
Mm. Yeah, so like we talked about how many points, the attitudes.
Mm-hmm,
We talked about praise,
mm-hmm,
having a thankful heart,
mm-hmm,
be grateful and celebrate the little successes in your lives.
mm-hmm,
There is power in doing that.
mm-hmm.
So you have to have a heart of praise and praise people around you. You
Mm-hmm.
see a little achievement, talk about it, be proud about it, and move on so that you can do more
Mm-hmm.
on that and be positive.
Yep.
Have a positive mind. Stay on the positive side
Stay on the
and
positive.
prepare for the negative,
Prepare for the
right?
negative. Yeah.
So just be like assured that the more that you stay on the positive side, there is power in that.
There is.
That will enable you, that will strengthen you
Mm-hmm.
to break through. So it's doable, it's possible. Though people have failed, but remain positive that it's possible. And some have what succeeded.
Yes.
So why not you?
Why not you?
Why not you? So be positive in your thinking, in your interaction with people, in your considerations, everything. Be positive, for there is power in being positive. And have
Wow.
faith. Have faith in yourself that you got it all.
Hmm.
You have it all
You
to
have it all.
succeed
My goodness.
in this life.
My
Don't
goodness.
let anybody tell you otherwise, that you don't know what it takes. You do. You do have what it takes
Mm.
to be successful.
Mm.
So believe in yourself,
Mm.
walk with it,
Mm.
and rest assured you'll be empowered to get over diseases. You'll be empowered to get over poverty. And you'll be able to build what generational wealth
Mm-hmm.
for the people, your children, your family, and you're going to be successful. And be what? Pragmatic.
Pragmatic.
Be positive, be realistic, be practical. Know what you are talking about. If you need information, it's out there. Go do your research, read around it. You have all the information. Like I said, you have everything at your disposal
Mm.
to make it in life. So let it happen, guys. Let's go and get it.
My,
It
my,
is
my. It
possible.
is
We
possible.
will succeed. We'll be
Yes.
victorious
Yes.
in
Yes.
this
Yes.
life.
Yes.
Don't let anybody tell you
My
otherwise.
goodness. My goodness. That is a place to give a lot of claps. Yes. That is gifty for you, you know? That's why when she's on, it's more lively than when I'm on alone. But hopefully, when I make more money, I can make a quit a job and then we can do this together. All right. All right. So we are wrapping up with the show right now. And I think we have done um, all that we needed to do. We just want to encourage you to share, keep sharing and liking the stream because that's how people know what is going on, and then more people will come on. We still have some more interesting topics relating to the power of attitude and I'm sorry, poverty and disease. We're still going to hit a little more before we leave that. We have a whole plan to also take months into specific health conditions. We just want to make sure that we have done this deeper enough for everybody that is watching. So keep watching, and you never know what is coming next. I'm pretty sure we're going to get Doctor back, and then we're going to talk about how he did become an entrepreneur. From an immigrant to a, all the business that he has been able to raise, and then we're also going to have people on the show that is going to talk to us about finances. How to basically secure your financial future, not just you, but for your children's children. We hit on that a little bit, but we want to bring an expert, and that is based on what we have already alluded to, what Gifty and have done in terms of certification and stuff like that. So that is what we want to say. We do have any other closing? That's it. All right. So um, we are not going to see you probably before Thanksgiving, but if there is time, maybe we'll come your way before Thanksgiving. Maybe in the midweek, we'll have a midweek huddle before Thanksgiving if it's possible. Otherwise, have a happy
Happy
Thanksgiving. Be
Thanksgiving.
thankful for what you have, the family and the children, and the spouses you have, and the place you live.
Mm,
Be just thankful. Be
mm.
thankful because uh, other people want to get where you are and they haven't yet. So you be thankful and be grateful. All right. In that way, we're going to end by saying that, beloved,
Beloved,
we
we
wish
wish
above
above
all
all
things
things
that
that
you
you
prosper
prosper
and
and
be in
be
health,
in health,
even
even
as
as
your
your
soul
soul
prospers.
prospers.
Thank
Thank
you
you
and
for
have a good
watching.
thank you. Have a good day too.